Hey, so, first of all, I just want to apologize for not being active lately. Some of you might have seen my community post or, what I've posted on Tumblr if you're following me there, so you already know what's going on. But for those who don't really look at community posts or mostly know me from Tumblr, I recently lost my job, and just honestly, it just feels like I've just been treated unfairly and just pushed out in general. And just see this as me venting on what happened and just bringing others up to speed that only really watch stuff and all that jazz. Basically, what happened was I work part-time at my community college in the college cafeteria, not as a student worker, but someone who was there as a regular staff member. And, to me, it was an important step because, it was my chance of being able to, actually get a working job, being able to help my family, being able to support, them and my cat, Sapphire, and, and working towards the goal of being able to see my partner who, lives in the UK, and also just being able to not worry about, stuff like money, at least in terms of, my pet and then stuff like that. And, something you should know about me is that even if I technically don't try to label myself as disabled, because I feel like that there's so many people who are, when I just have to deal with things like, in terms of dyscalculia, having trouble with math and stuff like that and numbers, and then dysgraphia, which affects memory, and then memory, and then how I write and how I spell things and stuff like that. And in the forms that they give you, those worker forms where it's what is your race, are you disabled, are you stuff like that, I made sure to put the check box that I was disabled and stuff, because even if I personally feel like I'm not, due to there's so many other people who have it worse than me. I know that these things are something I do struggle with compared to the normal person, and I know that it's something that I do struggle with, if that makes sense. And just and stuff like that. And the reason why I say it's important, because later on it just felt like my disability and stuff, it just wasn't taken seriously at all, due to it being stuff like that and not something else, or something that actively impacts people, if that makes sense. I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't taken as seriously and stuff. But yeah, during training and stuff, other than cleaning, I was also told that it would include handling the registers, a little bit of everything and stuff, if that makes sense. And other than cleaning the shelves, stocking, and cleaning at closing time, I knew that math and stuff, if I did have to do registers and stuff, would be hard for me, and they were especially kind of hard for me when I was doing them and stuff. So it's just on that first week that I was doing the registers, I had a coworker shadow me, making sure I was getting everything right. And I think I mentioned something hey, would it be okay if I use calculator or phone and blah blah blah, stuff like that, for my math. And they were really nice. They said that they would bring it up to my supervisor, who would bring it up to my boss, and stuff. And it was really reassuring and stuff like that. But, like, throughout that week and stuff, because I got fired, like when I wrote the script, I'm just loosely just talking about it, because I had to write it all down, and I'm just winging it and just using it as, like, a ballpoint to just kind of look at, mostly just because, like, I've tried just saying it point blank, and it doesn't feel genuine to me, if that makes sense. And it's just, I'd rather give something that feels genuine and not scripted, because it's just like, these things have happened to people other than me, and it's just like, to me it's just so unfair, because, like, it's just completely unfair, because one of the reasons that, like, my boss stated that he was letting me go for was the fact that ever since I've been on the register, the numbers have been negative, even though they shouldn't, because of, like, my supervisor and stuff had my coworker shadow me to make sure I got everything right. That also including the amount of change I was handing to people. And it was pretty easy, because instead of, like, having to guesstimate math and stuff like that, the machine literally said the number, and all I had to do was give them the amount of change. And my coworker made sure I was giving the right amount and not getting tripped up when it came to the numbers of everything and stuff. And, like, that just felt, like, really unfair. And then what fully made this, or fully pushed them letting me go, is basically when I was accused of taking food home, of practically, stealing. And basically, like, at the cafeteria, like, we were allowed to take some food home, mostly, like, the overstock home when it was clothing time. Like, the packaged, like, hot meals, or, like, sushi. Like, the ones that are already, like, prepped, and people just ask what they want, and then they hand you the bowl and stuff like that. Those types of meals we were allowed to take home. But when it came to, like, stuff like, actual stuff that you were stocking, like, drinks in the vending machine, chips, or, like, the donuts, which I got accused of, stealing, which, no, I didn't. Okay, but, like, we were allowed to take it home if we paid for it, and we had a 50% off discount. Like, workers got a 50% off discount when it came to, like, food, at least buying those items. And with me being a student, I got a 10% discount. So it's stupid that they would just accuse me of stealing and stuff, because the thing is, the donuts were like $2.75. Why the heck would I steal a $2.75 donut that they didn't even make, that they just bought and put in the thing? But anyways, that's just me being salty as heck and stuff. But it's just like, like, and basically I was told by this information from the boss, and then again from my coworker when she tasked me to clean the shelves and throw the donuts away. And I decided to clean the shelves, and this was on Thursday. So I cleaned the shelves, I did my normal duties, put the donuts in the trash, in the clear trash bag and stuff, because we have 2 trash bags. The big, the big ones that are, like, for the bigger trash bags in the kitchens, and they were, like, not clear. And then the ones for, like, the smaller trash bags in, like, that cafeteria area, and, like, for some of the smaller ones, they were clear. And since, there was only, like, I don't know, like, 3 donuts there and stuff, it's just like, why the heck are you gonna put 3 donuts in like a giant trash bag? Like, that's just wasteful. So I just put it in the smaller one. And then, I went to the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom, and like, I got in trouble last time for putting newer trash in like a trash bag that was already empty and stuff, and not wanting to get in trouble again. I'm like, oh, I might as well, put it in the bathroom trash because I'm not gonna get in trouble. Like, we haven't taken it out yet and stuff like that, and so no harm, no foul and stuff like that. And then I went to my normal duties, and then then I went home and stuff like that. And then like this Monday, or basically the Monday when I wrote the script and doing the voiceover for it, I believe. But then I went back in, and then as I mentioned before, that's when I get told about about the whole register thing. But before that, on Friday, last Friday, I got a text from my boss, and he was just like, who told you that taking the donuts home were okay? And it's like, and I'm just like, I didn't take the donuts home, like, and it's just like, you didn't tell me, like, oh hey Shadow Cat, like, we heard one of the employees said, like, he saw you take the donuts home, or he saw you like put the donuts blah blah blah. Like, we wanted to check and make sure if it was true or not. Like, no, he just freaking assumed that I did it, and without giving me any leeway or just anything like that. Like, the decision has already like been made and stuff like that. It's just it felt so accusatory from the start. It's like he already decided like something was wrong, and from there, like, things just snowballed when I showed up on Monday and stuff, and then it's just like, he talked about like, how the register has been off, and that's like, and then the stuff with the donuts, and like, I reminded him, like, no, I didn't take it home. I threw it, like, I basically told him the truth, like, no, I didn't take those donuts home, like, I threw it out. And the thing is, I literally said that, it would be impossible for me to take them home because, like, my stuff, my bags were in the break room, which was in view of his office, and other people were there to see if I, did that or anything like that. The bathroom is where the locker rooms were, and, employees could put their stuff there. I've never once put my stuff there for that week, so it would be impossible for me to take it home because my stuff wasn't there and stuff like that, Like, and to me, it felt like, it was an easy explanation instead of like, oh, stealing the stuff, blah, blah, blah. It just felt like, even when I did say the truth, that he didn't believe me. And then, like, when I reminded my boss about my disability, when he did talk about the register and stuff, he just brushed it off and said I should have told him sooner about it, and that, like, when I tried to explain, how dysgraphia works and stuff like that, well, not this, like, dyscalculia works, not dysgraphia, sorry, like, he literally said it shouldn't be like that, though, and I'm like, it just felt icky hearing that. It's just like, what do you mean it shouldn't be like that, though? Like, it's like that for me. I'm not making stuff up. And then it's just like, and it's just like, I had my coworker shadowing me this week, and she, like, mentioned that she would tell him about it so I could get my accommodations. And instead he took it as the worst possible thing ever. And he just let me go because of that. And I don't, and it's, or at least it felt like he let me go because of that. And that, the accusation didn't do anything better and all of that jazz. Excuse me. And it just, and then, putting in the hiring forms too, it felt like he didn't read it or just didn't care enough about it. And it's just like the decision was already made. He didn't ask questions or clarify like anything when he did send me that text, because he did have like my number and stuff. Like he had all the other coworkers' numbers, because in like the group chat text that he did. And then it's just like he said he had to let me go because I didn't have any other position where I could benefit the team, and handed me a paycheck, send me home. And it hurt more than I can just put into words. Not because I lost my job, but because it's just the way I was treated. And just, it felt like the reason that I lost my job was unfair and could be explainable with, like, like, it just felt like they assumed, because the thing is, I'm plus size, so it's like, oh yeah, the fat girl must be stealing food and not doing her job. And it's just infuriating on so many other levels and stuff like that. And then it's just like, when I went in on that day, that's when I found out that someone just assumed I stole food and told him. It's just things. It wasn't about straight up facts. It was just about assumptions that people jump to conclusions that I must be sneaking home food. Because like, I guarantee if I was skinny, like, would I have been accused? Or were they at least giving me, like, the chance to explain before deciding I was guilty? Or just saying, like, hey, what happened? Instead of just saying, oh, hey, Shadow Cat. And that someone, said you were just stealing food. Like, he didn't do that. He just said who took the food. Like, or who told you who took the food. And that was, like, the most infuriating thing and stuff. And it's just, like, it sucks. It really, really sucks. And I just want, and the reason why I'm just venting it out, and I'm just, sharing this, because, I know I'm not the only person in this. I know I'm not solely alone in this. I know that there's other people, like, so many, like, maybe plus size workers or disabled workers or just workers in general have, like, gone through stuff like this, like, being unfairly judged, unfairly treated, and just being denied any accommodations and being fired in first thing when you're not doing it right the first time, instead of getting support for it. So it's just, it sucks, and it's just, you're not alone, and it's just, you're not alone, and that whatever happened isn't your fault, and that you are not to blame for people being stupid, and for people being, like, really, really stupid and just disregarding things. So, yeah, and it's just, what now? And I'm just trying to turn, like, this setback into just a chance to do something else and to focus more of my art. And just, so I opened up emergency commissions on my Ko-Fi page. Prices are just $1. And it's just, if you want to support me and stuff, and if you can't donate or anything like that, or tip, just sharing this video around, or just sharing the link in general, that just helps so much, truly. And even if you can't, like, support me through, like, those means and stuff, just saying something nice to somebody who's having a bad day, or just, like, paying it forward for, like, other people in need, that's just good enough for me, if that makes sense. And it's just, like, yeah, that's just kind of what's been going on, and the reason why I haven't been able to make all the other videos and updates and projects that I've been wanting to make. So I hope that this gives me an opportunity to be able to put more time into those things and bring more time into my art and get better at my art. And I just want to say to the people who have been like supporting me already, like, you know, watching like my videos or like following my posts on Tumblr or reading the fanfics I posted on AO3 and giving like, you know, really lovely comments, or like people like commenting on my art or just like any stuff like that. I just want to thank those people, and I want to thank them so much, and just thank you for just being there and for supporting, you know, what I do, and just thank you for just thank you. And also just thank you for, you know, listening to this long thing, and just like, you know, and stuff like that. The link for my Ko-Fi will be in the description. The link won't really work due to, like, you know, YouTube being YouTube, but the link will be there, and I'll have it flash, my Ko-Fi flash on the screen somewhere and stuff. And just yeah, just thank you so much for taking your time to listen to this, and just thank you even more for just supporting me, and just take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll start, you know, finishing up all my other projects and stuff, and just, you know, again, thank you so much.